Hi guys. Like she said, my name's Christine. I was working as a designer. I studied fashion. I worked as a designer, just kind of worked different kind of levels. And kind of a few years into working, I always knew I wanted to start something, but I just kind of didn't really know how or what I wanted to do. And so I was working, and I always used to make my own clothes. I always made clothes for myself, and I would wear them out, and people would stop me and ask me, "Where did you buy that? Where did you buy that?" And I'd be like, "Oh, it's mine. I made it." And they would just like be like, "Oh, okay, well, it's nice." So after a few years of kind of seeing people kind of always stopping me and asking me where I got, I kind of just thought, okay, maybe I need to kind of see if I make a small collection, would people buy into it? It seems like I get quite a lot of people asking me about it. Maybe I should see if I can try to sell this as a brand. So one summer, I think it was 2008, while I still had my full-time job, I decided I was going to make a small collection of, I think I made about 30 pieces, just myself, just in my room, over weekends, evenings, after work. I would just go home and sew, and made a little collection. And I wanted to kind of maybe hire a little market store, maybe in Spitalfields or somewhere like that, and just kind of sell my clothes and see, because it was over the summer. So I thought, if I make something, colourful prints, I could kind of sell them. And then somehow, so once I finished the collection, there was this store in Brick Lane called the Leyden Showroom, and it was one of my favourite boutiques. It was such a great hub for independent designers, young designers that kind of, were doing something completely different. And at the time, it was like one of Victoria Beckham's favourite stores in London, and they had like loads of celebrities kind of shopping there. It was still, I think it's closed last year, but it was going for quite a while, and they kind of changed their marketing at the end, so it wasn't really like a just for new designers. But anyway, so at that time, I loved that store. I used to literally just go and visit it all the time. So I thought, let me just see if I approach them and see if they wanted to sell my collection. So I just took some photos and I emailed them. There was an email on their website. I emailed them saying, I'm a new designer. I've got this collection, and I just wondered if you'd be interested in stocking it. And the manager, who was the buyer for the store for Leyden, she was like, "Oh, actually, it looks interesting. Why don't you come in and show us?" I think I made some kaftans and just kind of like really, and using really colourful prints. I'm going to talk about the prints that I used just a little bit later on. So they loved the collection. They were just like, "Yeah, we're going to take it. We'll take it." And it was on a consignment basis where once I get paid once they sell. So they sold, they take a percentage, and then I get my percentage back. But I was just excited to be in that store. I was so happy. I was there for a few years, just kind of selling. And whenever they ran out, I would make more, replenish the stock. And over the years, so that was one of my first stockists. And then had like online presence. So we was like selling to people kind of directly, and also. Just kind of like through kind of the social media kind of side of things, promoting on social media. And over the kind of the first couple of years, we were just kind of getting noticed just by kind of taking lovely photos and getting noticed by people. So after maybe a couple of years, I got my first order from a boutique in Bahrain. A wholesale order, and they just found the brand on Facebook, and she loved it, and she was like, "We want to order some stuff." So I remember that literally that was my first like wholesale order, and it was just like amazing. It was like a dream. Again, I was sewing it myself. Like, if you ask me to sew today, I do not sew anymore. But those years, I was like crazy. I used to just make everything myself. So after that, we just picked up a few stockists over the kind of first kind of 3 years, and I was still working at this point. I was still working full time. So after a while, it was just getting too much, because working in fashion as a designer, working for a company, it was very demanding just to kind of be able to manage a business and then also kind of have to be like really busy in my job. So it got to a point where I had to decide to kind of quit the job and just like fully focus on the brand. So. So then I ended up working on the brand full time, and just to go, Rochelle read the bio, and coming up with a name for the brand, I wanted it to just be really me. So I used my childhood nickname, CHiChiA, which is a name that my family till today calls me, and It's very much a mix of the prints that I use are all Tanzanian prints, so very much from my culture, my Tanzanian culture. I was born in Tanzania, came here when I was very young, and so I grew up in London, so I wanted the aesthetic to be very much, London girl. And I just wanted something, for me, I wanted to make things that I wanted to see in the shops, and I just didn't, it was something that I didn't see, I hadn't seen before in the stores. So I thought, actually, I want to do something for me that I would wear and my friends would wear and hopefully other people. So that was the story of how the brand started and how it kind of picked up. So inspiration for the brand, the main inspiration is this fabric, the kanga, which is the East African rectangular cloth that is used by local women in East Africa, in Kenya, in Tanzania, I think a little bit in Uganda as well. And literally, women use this every day. They use this cloth every day. They would just wear it at home. They wear it to funerals. They wear it to weddings. They wear it, So and it's got such a, it's very significant. I've grown up with this fabric, and even not living in Tanzania, going back home over, like during the holidays, or going home for holidays, my mum and I would always go to the shops and buy, and I had like a collection from when I was very young, and I collected this fabric for years. So that's when I started my collection. I when I started my brand, I used the fabric. That I basically just used all my vintage collection, my fabrics from a vintage collection. So it's very, like I said, it's very much, the whole story of the brand is very much, embedded, like it's very much my life, basically. So this fabric, the kanga fabric, is, it's very colourful. The prints are usually very colourful, very bright. But then there's always all the fabrics have a saying in the middle of them. And the saying, most local women in Tanzania usually buy the fabric for the saying and not the print. And the saying is usually like you're communicating. It's either a proverb or a story or it could just be like a positive message. And I really love that. So I use that also in my brand. And so over the years we've also started doing our own prints, but still keeping the whole kanga, theme going. So this is a print that I did with a print designer called Oliver Goddard that I collaborated with. And so this is from Spring/Summer 15, and it was inspired by just my love of story time and Tinga Tinga art and my childhood and the kanga itself. So yeah, still very colourful and very cool. Part of also my brand, I decided, because I wanted the storyline to be very streamlined, I wanted to manufacture in Tanzania as well. So part of my collections are manufactured in Tanzania. So we travel twice a year to Tanzania and work with artisans, skilled artisans over there. So it's really nice to be able to to do that and have that kind of strong connection to my home country. So this is one collection that they kind of made. This is a winter collection that was sold here that was made in Tanzania. So this is my ASOS collaboration that I did. This is last year. So we did prints for them, and they were all inspired by the kanga again. And the whole collection. So ASOS Africa, which is now called ASOS Made in Kenya, is all made in Kenya in this very remote area in just kind of like on the coast called the Rukinga Wildlife Sanctuary. And they also ASOS opened this factory, ASOS Foundation opened this factory in Kenya, and in this area, and they've basically hired the locals and trained them to work for the factory, and it's an amazing place. So I actually went to visit the factory while they were making the collection, and it was fantastic to see the locals, the collection being made and everything. So this was last year at some point. And yeah, it was fantastic just to see, and even to talk to locals, because they all speak Swahili, and I speak Swahili, so I was asking them, are you being treated well? And they were like, yeah, the ASOS treat them very fairly, very well. They provide even education for their kids. So there's a school next door that all their kids go to when they're at work, so it's really nice. This is a shoot we did in Kenya as well, because I wanted the collection to be, because it's made in Kenya, so I wanted the collection to kind of also illustrate that this is all Kenyan creatives that I collaborated with that did this photo shoot, and they were amazing. Just kind of to finish off, sorry, I know I've gone over, but social media is also a big part of how my brand got out. Like I said, my first order came through someone that found me on Facebook, and it's just fantastic. So this is just a little quick story. One day, out of the blue, in 2013, 2014, I got an email, and the title of the email was Beyonce Pool for photo shoot. And I was thinking, what? So I opened the email, and it was Beyonce stylists, and who had found me on Instagram. They had found my brand, and they loved the clothes, and she had a photo shoot, and they wanted to take some stuff for the shoot. And so I met them literally within like hours. It was like the evening before, and she was on tour in Manchester, and they were like, we're coming to London just for a few hours, can we meet you? So I met them and gave them some clothes. It was all very last minute. Gave them some stuff, and literally within a couple of, I think 3 weeks, she posted this picture of herself on her Instagram, which was fantastic. Like, she didn't tag me, but literally all my followers tagged me. It was just like, my phone was going off like crazy. And she's wearing something with a Kanga saying on her, and it was just like the most amazing thing. So the whole of Tanzania were like, oh my God, she's wearing Swahili on her. So this was fantastic. So yeah, just kind of to show that, connecting and just showing your brand and promoting your brand and your story online, it attracts the most. You just don't know who you can attract. So the best thing is telling your own unique story and being able to kind of just be yourself and have a unique selling point, and the right people will be attracted. This is just another collaboration I did with talking about the whole online social media thing. It's a collaboration I did with influencers called Project Tribe, who also wore my collection. I just sent them some stuff, and they were in Guatemala and took some pictures. I wanted to show these images because they're really cool about social media. But yeah, thank you for having me.